enough about the loot.
You lied to me.
Now I finally know the truth.
Please forgive me for my sinful ways. You gave me mercy and I'm so amazed.
I deserve death to tell the truth.
Less of me and more of you.
Less of me and more of you. It ain't about us. It's about the Most High and our King Yasharahla.
Ain't no turning back, now I'm in this truth.
Telling you, it ain't no other way.
And I thank God, without him I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah. Take shots while the world turns. We gon' pop champagne while the world burns. Babylon falling while you seem stressed. If you ain't trying to keep these laws, I ain't impressed. Repenting for my sins, I don't feel vexed. No more drama in my circle, so I feel blessed. Feast days and oblations, plenty liquor plus some real conversations. Matthew 18, if you got a situation, he's so ruling, but 1/3 gon' replace him. Iron sharpen iron, that's that camp life. Get corrected, plus we help you get your facts tight. Teach them laws and stay true, get your act right. All for your life, that's a reasonable sacrifice. The one they call Christ, that's Yasharahla. Prophesying to the wind, I feel so alive.
Ain't no turning back, now I'm in this truth. And I thank God, without him I don't know what I'd do.
My yacht. One time for the best side. We can pour up, have a drink on the west side. Kwam Yasharahla, we the next guys. Keep on walking in the faith, I want the next prize. Big ups to my day ones, Nash Yash. Bashamar, the Rosh, and my boy Yash. Uncle T, Uncle Z, Aharon too. Akahan, can't forget about the works too. Watch this land turn to dust as we turn up. They gon' beg us for a ticket while we live it up. All the fame and the money, I give it up. I just hope I get chose when he choosing up. Now where your cup back? Pop a bottle, raise a cup, we can toast that. Taking pics with my bruise, we can post that. And now I take a couple fades before I go back. In the word I mean.
Ain't no turning back, now I'm in this truth. And I thank God, without him I don't know what
I don't know what I do either. Yeah. Peace. Cause why to follow the one and only? His spirit led me to the truth, now I'll never be lonely. I do away my old self and my old ways. Humble myself and now I'm walking the gold lane. They stole our information, perverted the word of Yah, and cut off the nation. Because our ancestors forsook the covenant. Into the curse and now we ruled by the government. We the lost sheep, descendants of Jacob. We was all asleep, but now it's time to wake up. Breaking these generational curses and turning our backs on these lying ass churches. Making my way out of Babylon. And shalom to my brothers that keep the laws. Kwam Yasharahla, Kwam Yasharahla, Kwam Yasharahla, Kwam Yasharahla.
Ain't no turning back, now I'm in this truth. And I thank God, without him I don't know what I'd do. I don't ever wanna fall,
I'm just gonna pick one of these presets. And it's perfect. Literally 2 clicks. Now I can just move on to the next thing.
Start the conversation now.
Hello? Hello? Stuck here in Babylon.
You ain't the only nigga going through something. Can't lie, it hurt me, but I gotta learn from it. You say you had me in this relay 100. Turn to a marathon, I gotta keep running. You ain't the only brute going through something. My heart is broken, but it gotta keep pumping. The harvest plenty, it's the one gon' keep coming. Besides your how I tell them I don't fear nothing. Double honors out when they deserve it. Ain't no honor when they don't deserve it. I'm striving towards it, I ain't saying perfect. These jakes quitting, I don't see the purpose. Her journey just beginning, barely reached the surface. Romans 9, I know they jakes, but most these niggas worthless. How you going back fishing when our people hurt? Say y'all was going twain with us, why y'all leave these burdens? Say we was on the right track, I thought you knew for certain. Thought I was running with some lines, I got bit by serpents. Yeah, y'all probably say I'm bitter, I just been betrayed. And y'all wonder why I'm loyal to the ones that stayed. They tell me they don't know no loyalty to any man. But Yahweh, he was loyal unto many men. He even called our father Abraham a true friend. I'm chilling like I'm down Yasharahla in the lion's den. You ain't the only nigga going through something. Can't lie, it hurt me, but I gotta learn from it. You say you had me in this relay 100. Turn to a marathon, I gotta keep running. You ain't the only brute going through something. My heart is broken, but it gotta keep pumping. The harvest plenty, it's the one gon' keep coming. Besides your how I tell them I don't fear nothing. We say we in this truth, but people plead to lies. They really started hating me when shit got televised. This the only way I know to keep it all a buck. Only my Akim in these trenches with me know what's up. I've been loyal to my soul, check my resume. In this crimson and this gold, I seen better days. Never thought I'd see the day where there was no more thunder. And the beginning was no longer, guess we fall asunder. Lost my passion for those leaders, they threw in the towel. For this principle of truth, I gotta bring it out. Earth is only one road, we taking different routes. Jake's voted fair and square, but brothers seem to pout. Please don't tell me that you care if you won't hear me out. Plots on our demise disguised with salutes and smiles. Is you a knock or a not? Please do inform. Cause ain't no need to shake my hand if niggas lose. You ain't the only nigga going through something. Can't lie, it hurt me, but I gotta learn from it. You say you had me in this relay 100. Turn to a marathon, I gotta keep running. You ain't the only brute going through something. My heart is broken, but it gotta keep pumping. The harvest plenty, it's the one gon' keep coming. Besides your how I tell them I don't fear nothing. Let us pray. Finally had to realize I'm nothing but a servant. It ain't about me, it's about you. You was willing to lay your life on the line for us. So everything I do, this music, I do this in your name. I don't care about the money, I don't care about the fame. Wear my fringes of my culture, I would never be ashamed. Carry my cross on my back, I ain't here to entertain. Whether I live or I die, I do this in your name. It's more than knowing we the chosen seed. Tell them these laws is what we need to keep. Our people hear it, but they still sleep. The hood, the matrix, niggas counting sheep. I tell you truth and I'm your enemy. You say shalom like you a friend of me. You swear that you ain't got no God, but you got tendencies. When they don't like me, I can feel it in their energy. You need the spotlight. Them views and them lights got niggas thinking that they star bright. Son of the morning, who you with? I'm burning all night. Not just Black Lives Matter, nigga, all tribes. Recording classics in your archives. These Edomites, they getting hog-tied. Facts over feelings breaking through they glass ceiling. While your Hollywood swinging with them lines, I be chilling. I can turn it into villains. Niggas hardly making millions. Niggas screwing with your rep, and that's enough to make you drill them. Sitting watching Jake aim, see him shooting for the fame. This is pool, shit is deep. Wooden caroms ain't the same. No Khalil, got fringes always on, no need to change. I'ma take the humble route. I'ma take the lowest lane. Street teach but never glory unless it's all in vain. Bless the power and the king. I do this in your name. I don't care about the money, I don't care about the fame. Wear my fringes of my culture, I will never be ashamed. Carry my cross on my back, I ain't here to entertain. Whether I live or I die, I do this in your name.
They say they straight, but they not. They waiting on my fall as they stare up at the clock. Well, tick-tock, cause I never stop. They chasing clout, but vain is what I'm not. What's it gonna take for Jakes to keep it real? I can love you from afar, but we can never chill. You turn Judas overnight, I can, that's for real. I do it in his name, so we ain't taking deals. Trim my grass so I can see you slither like a snake. So when it come to righteousness, I'll take the hate. As long as I can see you coming from a mile away, I vow to the Lord to keep my nation safe. To hell with the fame, I don't need a ring. A saint waiting for the kingdom, I come back like Mace. I'll be damned if I let this truth go to waste. They say they in the truth, but they ain't in the faith. I do it in your name, so keep my feet from evil. I'm fighting demons constantly, this shit can get deceitful. I can feel it in the air, just like Benny Siegel. I keep discernment like Yasharahla when it comes to people. What's to gain the whole world and you lose your soul? Doing shit for people who can't right your wrongs. It's a righteous game, so let's take the throne. Blood in, blood out, like
I
the
do this in
Corleone.
your name. I don't care about the money, I don't care about the fame. Wear my fringes of my culture, I will never be ashamed. Carry my cross on my back, I ain't here to entertain. Whether I live or I die, I do this in your name. Hamashiach Yahawashai.
Unmute mic 7, unmute mic 7.
Keep on holding on.
Hey, test it, Kawaya.
My check.
Mic check. Testing.
Is that mic cool for you, Kawaya?
Con. Yeah, on this one. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all ready? Come on, y'all gotta give the spirit of gladness. We are glad today that we made it to another tabernacle. Give him all the praise, the glory, the honor, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, our Father. All right, we got a little treat for y'all today. We want you guys to stand on your feet, support our children. They worked hard and practiced on this song. I want you guys to know, you all to know, that the Most High has a blessing for you. Don't worry. It's all in his timing. He has a miracle for you. Don't worry. The Most High got you. And we're going to sing it for y'all to reassure that y'all know that the Most High got a blessing. All right.
miracle. Get ready for your blessing. Get ready for your miracle. I know you've been hurting deep down inside. Let me encourage you. It's gonna be alright. Troubles and trials, hard to make you strong. Keep on believing, keep on holding on. To get ready for your blessings. Get ready for your miracle. Get ready for your blessing. Get ready for your miracle. God's got a bless. God's got a bless. God's got a bless. God's got a bless. God's got a blessing. God's got a blessing. God's got a blessing. With my name on it. God's got a blessing. God's got a blessing. God's got a blessing. My name on it. With 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 my name on it. God's got a blessing. 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 With my name on it. God's got a blessing. God's got a blessing. God's got a blessing. With my name on it. 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 With my name on it.
Come on. Did y'all feel that? Did y'all feel that? Somebody say, Kwam Yasharahla. All praises. Thank y'all. All right, we got one more for y'all. I don't think I'm going to do that. All right. All right. Good job. Proud of y'all. Proud of y'all. All praises. Didn't they do such a great job? All right. We want y'all to stand in your seats. No. Stand where you at. And we're going to do another one. Now, this song is the same thing. We want y'all to know that the Most High is able to do what he said that he's going to do. All right, y'all? All right. Mic check, mic check. Are we ready? Come on. Mic check. Yeah. Come on.
nonetheless. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Over the Most High willing, everyone is getting to a good, strong start of Tabernacles. So let's go ahead and get into it. So prepare your tabernacle. Let's go ahead and get the book of Hebrews. Chapter 9. Let's read verse 1 through 4.
Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 1. Then verily the first covenant had also ordinance of divine service and worldly sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
For there was a tabernacle made.
There was a what?
There was a tabernacle made.
Read.
The first wherein was the candlestick and the table and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary. And after the second vow, the tabernacle which is called the holiest of holies, which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant, overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna, Aaron rod that budded, and the table of the covenant.
So you're reading what was all corresponding or what was all within this sanctuary. Because when you look at tabernacles, it has everything to do with us and our spirit and what should be within us, dwelling within us. Because what was the whole purpose of the tabernacle? Get Exodus 25, 8 through 9. Exodus 25, 8 through 9.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 8. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall you make it.
Now he said, look, I want you to make this sanctuary so that I can what?
That I may dwell among them.
He said that I may dwell among them. Because you see, not only was it a place so that the Most High could dwell amongst us and be amongst us, but he's also supposed to be dwelling within us, within this fleshly tabernacle. Go ahead and get to the New Testament. Get 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. It's what it's supposed to represent. Because that same person who's over that tabernacle was really Christ before he came in the flesh, when he was still in that spiritual form. So in the same thing that he says here in 2 Corinthians 13 and 5.
2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith.
That's the first thing it says. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Because the same way with the earthly tabernacle, if in a place you were unclean, what happened if you tried to come near? You'd be put to death. So in the same manner, in a place to where the Most High with this fleshly tabernacle, if we aren't clean and you're clean according to the law, statutes, and commandments, what's going to inevitably happen to you? You're going to be put to death if you're walking disorderly and you have uncleanliness dwelling within you. That's the judgment. So now, read that.
Prove your own selves.
Mm-hmm.
Know ye not that your own selves, how that Yahawashi is in you?
Because that's the spirit that's supposed to be in us. He's supposed to be dwelling within us. Read on.
Know ye not your own selves, how that a Mashiach Yahawashi is in you, except ye be reprobates?
You see, he's supposed to be except we be reprobates. Except you be in a place where you're disconnected from the Most High and want to have nothing to do with his law, statutes, commandments. He's supposed to be dwelling in you, working within you, and helping to restore your spirit and your temple. Read on.
But I trust that ye should know that we are not reprobates.
But I trust that ye should know, as long as we're walking according to these laws and working day by day to cleanse ourselves, we're not reprobates. We have enough sense that we're working on our perfection. Doesn't mean we're there yet, but you're working on cleaning out your tabernacle. Maybe you still ain't got behind the dresser. You got to get clean up that area. Maybe you got to finish dusting the ceiling fans, and it's a lot of gunk up there. But you're working on it, and that's the key thing that the Most High wants from you, that day by day you're working to clean yourself up to perfect your own soul and your own walk. So now from there, let's go ahead and get Exodus 33 and 7. Because just as I was mentioning, the tabernacle was kept separate. That's also something that's very important spiritually. Get Exodus chapter 33. Let's get verse 7.
Exodus chapter 33 and verse 7. And Moses took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off of the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. And it came to pass that every one which sought the Lord went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was with the camp, which was without the camp.
Right. So now the reason why he did that, he was showing you something and teaching us something even then. He said, look, I'm holy. I like things a certain way. I have to separate myself from everyone else to make sure that you separate clean and things that may become unclean. You got to come to me correct. So then likewise, even in this walk, he says, look, you guys have to make sure that you're clean. Separate yourself from the world. Separate yourself from those things that can be wicked or tainted. Live in the world, but be not of the world. Separate yourself and cleanse yourself according to me. This is the same that he was teaching us in the encampment. Get Numbers chapter 1, 50 to 54. And then get 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. Numbers chapter 1, 50 to 54.
Numbers chapter 1 and verse 50. But thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony, and over all the vessels thereof, and over all the things that belong to it. They shall bear the tabernacle, and all the vessels thereof.
Because you see, the Levites, what was their responsibility? What was that? Pass the mic, somebody. Angel for me, please. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Go ahead, anybody. Pastor Al-Kabar.
To give the service to the Most High.
To give the service to the Most High. Primarily to teach the people how to get to the Most High properly. Is that not the job of the teachers in this day and age? Not just of the men you see here at this table, but the various teachers we have throughout this organization, and not just indicative of this organization, but throughout all of Israel, scattered across the four corners of the world. All teachers, their job is to work as the Levites, to be there, which should be a representation of the law, because that's what they should be teaching and applying in their own lives and teaching you to do the same, that they're there as that bridge to help you get across to worship the Most High in spirit and in truth, being clean and untainted, bringing yourself before the Father. That's what they're supposed to be doing. That was the key with the Levites, and especially with the priests. Now read on.
They shall bear the tabernacle and all the vessels thereof, and they shall minister unto it.
And that was a key thing, to minister unto it, and minister unto the people, to serve the people and the needs of the people. So now, that's all I need from there. Go ahead and get that in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. And then from there, we're going to get the next segment, encampment. We'll get Numbers chapter 2.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness?
So likewise, as the Most High said, look, tabernacle got to be separate from what the people are, and then there's an order. You have the leadership right there, first and foremost, to make sure, hey, the people get them right before they come to me. Then you got the people outside of that. So you had the Levites who were set around and encamped around the tabernacle by the tribes. So you had the Kohath, their family set up on one side, the Aaron and his sons, and the other two sons, Merari, and I forget the last one, the other son. I want to say Gershon, but they set up on the other side. So now, and then outside of them, they four made up that block: Kohath, Merari, and I want to say Gershon, those three, and then Aaron and his sons and his family, and Moses on the other side, and then the other Israelites outside of that, set up by their tribes and families, 3, That's how you had it set up. Now, the next thing that you had is how the Most High wanted us to make sure that we were was in a place to where being mindful of him and his laws and what it takes to reach him and get to him. He didn't want to deal with any mess, any sort of anything profane. He wanted everything to be right. Go ahead and get that in 2 Corinthians 6 and 14 again.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Same way with us and unbelievers. He said, look, there's levels to your dealings in this world when you're dealing with people who are both of the truth and of the world. He said, look, non-believers, you know they're not walking this walk. They're not trying to don't be unequally yoked. Don't be spending your time all around something that is unclean. Because what's going to end up happening, if you're not being an influence on them, then they're going to ultimately be an influence on you. And you risk corrupting your tabernacle. So now hold that, get the book of Proverbs. Because what the Most High is trying to do is warn you to try to keepsake your tabernacle away from things that can seduce it. Get Proverbs chapter 12, verse 26.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 26. The hand of the diligent shall
Proverbs
bear...
chapter 12, verse 26.
The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor.
See, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. Who's the neighbor of the righteous? The wicked. The wicked in this context are the neighbor of the righteous. It said the righteous is more excellent than their neighbor, the wicked. But, read on.
But the way of the wicked...
But the way of the wicked. The way is the path, the direction, the walk, the way that they're going. It says, read on.
The way of the wicked seduceth him.
The way of the wicked seduceth them. So if you're overly spending your time with the wicked who aren't walking and applying the same way that you are, they're not trying to clean their tabernacle the way you're trying to clean yours. Their house is filthy and dirty. So what happens in a place to where, think about it, you go in a place, it's all mud on the floor. You go in there, what's going to happen? You start getting mud on your shoes. You try to, all right, well, maybe I can just tiptoe around here and then, but try going up this ramp right here. You're trying to tell you're going to slip and fall. Now you get even more dirty. The Most High said, no, abstain from any appearance of evil. Let's get that. Get 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 in verse 22. Get verse 21 and then 22. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21 and 22.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 21. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good.
So prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. A lot of things we be having in a tabernacle, in a sanctuary, even our home, not all is good. Sometimes we want to hold on to things that's really bad. We start compiling junk. Things we need to get rid of. Spring cleaning. That's why they got it. It's stuff I need to get this tidied up in here. But now read on.
Abstain from all appearance of evil.
Anything that seems, I said, look, abstain from any appearance of evil. Don't entertain that. Because through entertaining it, that's how you end up letting in other foul spirits into your world, into your life, that now can corrupt you. That can corrupt your tabernacle and then makes you unclean to where now you jeopardize yourself with the Most High. That's what you don't want to do. You jeopardize and you risk yourself with the Most High. And many times we take those chances. And you end up making mistakes, and those mistakes can be costly because you don't know if you're going to get that grace and mercy from the Most High. That's why we have that Day of Atonement, which we just celebrated, was to become at one with him through acknowledging the things we did wrong and hoping that the Most High forgives us for the things that we did wrong against him within the past year. Doesn't mean that he will forgive you for all those things. We hope that he will. So now, from there, let's go ahead and get Numbers chapter 2. Let's get Numbers chapter 2. I'm going to get Numbers chapter 2 and skip around. Numbers chapter 2 and verse 2.
Numbers chapter 2 and verse 2. Every man of the children of Israel shall pitch by his own standard with the ensign of their father's house. Far off about the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch.
He said far off, and that's for y'all's sake, so that anytime y'all are unclean, my wrath doesn't come forth and destroy you. Because y'all learning out here, y'all got to get it right. You know, so y'all got to be pitched far off till y'all get right. Then, slowly but surely make your way towards me. So now I want you to skip down and read verse 17.
Verse 17. Then the tabernacle of the congregation shall set forward with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camp.
See that? The Levites were the ones who were in the midst of the camp. They were that barrier between us and the Most High. Levites were set aside with their families all around it. Continue reading on.
As they encamp, so shall they set forward, every man in his place by their standards.
So now, that's all I actually need from that, but you can read the whole chapter. I'm not going to read it now for sake of time, but go ahead and get Job chapter 8 and verse 7. Job chapter 8 and verse 7.
Job chapter 8, verse 7. Though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end shall greatly increase.
Because at the end of the day, though, when you even look at this from a spiritual standpoint, we start off in this walk small. We grow and we increase in our spirit. We increase in our faith. We increase in our walk to where at the end, when we finally get those new bodies, Most High said, you're now complete. You've now lived up to the fulfillment of what it is that I wanted you to be. You've finally, your whole house is clean. You finally got everything to where you're right now. That we said, look, although your beginning was small, your latter end shall be great. You'll be greatly magnified. In mind, in body, and in spirit, you'll be complete in my walk. Now let's get the outer court of the tabernacle. Get Exodus 38. Get the book of Exodus chapter 38, then we'll go to Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Exodus chapter 38, we're going to start at verse 9 and we'll skip around.
Exodus chapter 38, verse 9. And he made the court of the south side southward. The hangings of the court were of fine twined linen, 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their brass sockets 20. And the hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. And of the north side of the hanging were 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their sockets of brass 20. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And of the west side were hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And the east side, eastward, were 50 cubits.
We'll just skip down to 14. This is the key that I want to get from this.
The hanging of the one side of the gate were 50 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3.
So now with this, there was a gate in order to enter into the tabernacle. It wasn't just a place you can just get in any side or it was just open. There was actually a path that you had to go through in order to get inside of the tabernacle. It wasn't set up like, I'm here, I can just get around any sort of side. No, there was a gate there. There was a door that you had to get through in order to get there. That was also part of him teaching the spirit. You can't just get to me any sort of way. You got to learn order. There's a path in order to get to me. It's no different than we bring out. Go ahead and get Matthew chapter 7, verse 13, and then get 2nd Ezra chapter 7, 6 through 9. Matthew 7 and 13, and then 2nd Ezra 7, 6 through 9. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13, and 2nd Ezra chapter 7, 6 through 9.
Book of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate.
So enter ye in at the straight gate. We went over that definition of straight. That straight path is a difficult path. It's not easy. It's a very narrow road. So remember, that straight isn't spelled S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T, meaning something we know that is just straight path, but this is straight, S-T-R-A-I-T, which is dealing with a narrow passage or area, a position of difficulty, distress, or need, narrow, affording little space, confined in area, because when you're on this walk, there is very little space to mess up. That's right. You're not afforded a lot of space to make a lot of mistakes. Out in the world, any other religion, any other belief, you can make a lot of mistakes. Everything, all is forgiven. It don't matter what you do. There's no accountability. In this walk, it is very narrow. You don't have a lot of wiggle room. That's something he's trying to teach you. Look, the way and the path to me, there's only one way to get to me, and that path to get to me is a difficult one. You're going to be in distress and turmoil because people come in, why is it so difficult? It's challenging. I told you, it's the stress. You feel that stress. So now, go ahead and get that second Ezra. Actually, finish that in Matthew 7:13.
For wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
He said, look, everything that is wrong, it's a wide open path to get to everything that's wrong and messed up. But to get to the path of righteousness, it's a narrow way and only one path. He says only one right answer. Everything else is wrong. Read on.
And many there be which go in thereat.
He said, and many there be that go into that broad path. You can go into that broad path and easily find it. But now the path in which is narrow, think about the door to the building that you're in right now, or your house if you're there at home. In this case, we're at the school. Think about how narrow this door is, or that door is, compared to how broad the rest of the world is. You can get lost in the rest of the world, but to find that one building, to find your house in the midst of everything else, like a needle in a haystack. That's the difficulty. A lot of hay, but where that one needle. So now, from there, let's go ahead and get 2 Ezra chapter 7, 6 through 9.
2 Ezra chapter 7, verse 6. There is also another city, there is also another city is builded and set up on a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and set in a dangerous place to fall.
So he said, look, he's telling Ezra, and he's speaking on the parable. Look, let's say there's a city, and it's full of all good things, and this city is the kingdom. And he said, but now let's say the way to get to that city, put the passage very narrow. Read on.
Like as if there were a fire on the right hand, on the left hand a deep water.
He said, look, but now put the entrance, not only is it narrow, but it's set in a dangerous place. You ever see the movies like that narrow path and there's lava on the sides and it's like, damn, if they fall, that's their life? That's this walk right here. It said, look, you walking, I'm like, ooh. You walking down, your hat getting singed, You walking down, that's what how this walk is. I'm over here making my little mistakes and getting, that's the way this walk is. So if you slip and fall, that's your, Mr. Postman. You better hope you can grab onto that ledge and hopefully got enough strength to pull yourself like that was a close one. Otherwise, that's it. You know, them fingers fall, that's it. You done. And ain't no second chance because this is our second chance. Read on.
And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be one man go there at once.
Read on.
If the city now were given unto a man for an inheritance,
because it's our inheritance. Read on.
If he never shall pass the danger before it,
if he never gets right, never repents, because that's the danger. The danger is the world, the sin, the wickedness. You got to get past all those stumbling blocks and make it to the Father. Read on.
How shall he receive this inheritance?
But if you never go through those things, how can you receive your inheritance? Because read on.
And I said, it is so, Lord.
He said, well, yeah, you got a point, Lord. It's the truth. Read on.
Then said he unto me.
What did the Most High say? Read.
Even so also is Israel's portion.
He said, even so is our portion. This is our test and our trial as Israelites. To get our tabernacles right, to be able to enter into that straight gate. To make it in, to be able to fellowship with the Most High. Without jeopardy or risk of us getting put to death because we ain't right. Read on.
Because for their sake I made the world.
Because for their sakes I made the world. We're trying to get back to what it is we had. Read on.
And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done.
He makes it key because when Adam transgressed, because he allowed himself to be seduced by his wife, I put on Adam because he's the man and the man is the head. you got to take full responsibility at the end of the day. That when he transgressed, then that's when everything became difficult because we had the kingdom. We had immortality. We had everything good, but we lost it. Read on.
Then were the interests of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils, and very painful. The interests of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit.
Because he said, look, when Adam did what he did, that's when everything became difficult. That's when everything became narrow. Oh, y'all got to work for it now. He said, before, all the good was brought. Before, it was the wicked that was narrow. But you somehow found that narrow path to do wicked, and you destroyed the broad that was good. And you made it into the opposite. Brought uncleanness into the situation. Destroyed your tabernacle that was once immortal, that was once perfect. Now you made it imperfect. So now we're working back to it. Now let's get next to the altar of sacrifice, because that's what came in when they messed up and when they chose to take a covering, a clothing, and really of not of the Most High Spirit, but another spirit. That's when animal sacrifice had to come into play. Get the altar of sacrifice, Romans 12 and 1. Get Romans chapter 12, verse 1. And get Exodus 27, 1 through 8. Exodus 27, 1 through 8. And let's get Romans chapter 12, verse 1.
Romans 12 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Romans 12 and 1. You want that one first, right?
Yeah, you get Romans 12 and 1 first.
Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Your body is itself. Your body's supposed to be that living sacrifice that you set apart and dedicated to the Most High and offered up to Him. Hold that. Read Exodus 27, 1 through 8.
Exodus chapter 27 and verse 1. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans. All the vessels thereof shall make of brass. And thou shalt make it for a great grate of network of brass. And upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof. And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the staves shall be put into rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. Hollow with boards shall thou make it, as it was showed thee in the mount, so shall they make it.
This was the structure of, when we're looking at the altar of brass and the altar of sacrifice. This is what they were bringing when they would offer all those sacrifices. This is what they were offering them on to the Most High. He said, don't just bring it to me any kind of way. But when it comes to the Most High, He just don't want you any kind of way. Of course, when you're coming to place, when you're coming to this walk and you're repenting, you're learning, but you're learning how to do things correctly. He said, come to me correct. Learn the way to worship and to serve me properly. Because when you're offering yourself up as a sacrifice, it ain't just in a place that, all right, this is it. The Most High says, no, I have particulars on how you are to live and apply yourself to be a righteous sacrifice. One of my choosing, my calling. Go back and read that in Romans chapter 12 and verse 1.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy.
Wait, what's that?
A living sacrifice, holy.
You got to be holy. Got to work to be holy. That's part of that living sacrifice. You are living to be holy, to become holy. Read.
Acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service.
He said, this, I'm not asking anything that's too far-fetched, anything that's too difficult. This is reasonable. It's perfectly understandable to work to gain to get this. It ain't a whole lot. You know, some people ask you, I need you to do this and this and this. Like, come on, man. Moses said, nah, this is reasonable. Especially when most of y'all ain't even been, most of us in this walk haven't been even doing it from birth. You spent what, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60 years being wicked. How much do you really have left to be righteous? For all we know, most High coming in 3 years. 5, 10, but compared to how long we live, how long really is it? Most of us, we spend more years being wicked than being righteous. So he said, look, this is reasonable. So now, let's get from there. The next thing, the labor. Get Exodus 30, 17 to 21. The book of Exodus, chapter 30, verse 17 through 21.
Exodus 30 and 17. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Thou shalt also make a lever of brass, and his foot also of brass, to wash withal, and thou shalt put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and thou shalt put water therein.
So now, notice this had a purpose. This labor that was part of the tabernacle had a purpose. What was that purpose? Anyone catch it? To what? It said to wash withal. To wash. When you wash, you cleanse. Read on.
For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water, that they die not.
That they what?
That they die not. Or when they come near to the altar to minister to the
what?
To burn offering made by fire unto the Lord.
So when it comes to minister unto the Most High, they got to be clean. They got to be right. Because the Most High is teaching you, in order to serve me, you got to be clean. In order, he said, look, before you even go in a place to go do the service that I need you to do, you got to first clean yourself up. Don't just go out any kind of, no, clean yourself up, then minister. Clean yourself up, then teach. Clean yourself up, then, try to go out and cook and sing and do everything else that I need you to do. Clean yourself up. Wash yourself. Same thing needs to do security. Get John 17 and 17 to Zion, and then Isaiah get Psalms 51. 1 through 7. I want John 17 and 17 first.
John chapter 17 and verse 17. Sanctify them through thy truth.
He said, sanctify them, cleanse them through thy truth. Cleanse them through the truth. The truth is the word. Read on.
Thy word is truth.
That's how we cleanse it. That's how we getting it right. Because before you start getting too involved, before you start trying to teach, you got to learn.
That's right.
You got to serve the Most High properly. You got to clean yourself up. And once you're clean, now you can go forth and serve and do the work of the Most High righteously. Because many were out there trying to serve the Most High, but you wasn't clean first. You was going out of order. You was trying to, one of the people was trying to go around the tabernacle to try to get in. So now enter in at this straight gate. Come back around. You know, go to a place, you try to go around, and you realize, I can't, you got to go around, brother. You know, I got to go around, you can't get in this way. That's how I be with the Most High. Angels standing by, can't get in this way. You got to go back around and, I done already walked all the way over here. Don't matter. Walk all the way back. You want to get in, right? In all them places we go. Y'all been in them events. You want to get in. You got to walk back around. And guess what? What you going to do? Walk back around. You go walk back around and say, I want to get in. How much more for the kingdom? How far are you willing to walk to enter into that straight gate? Some people not willing. Some be like, is that far? You just like other places. That far? I'm all right. I'm good. I'll go somewhere else. But how far are you willing to walk? Go ahead and get that Psalms 51, 1 through 7, and with John 4, 23.
Psalms 51, verse 1. Have mercy upon me, O God.
The first thing we do is have mercy. Please, Father, have mercy. Because at the end of the day, we don't really want to be destroyed by the Most High. At the end of the day, we just have a problem with keeping some of the laws and warring against the flesh. We don't really want to get destroyed. Now, read on.
Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness.
We want his loving kindness because we understand how bad his wrath can be. Understanding how bad he can get when he's vengeful. Read on.
According unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin.
We want the Most High to wash us from our iniquity. Because although we wash physically, but spiritually I need to be cleansed. Because my spirit, that's corrupt. You can take a shower all day and still be dirty. Because spiritually you're unclean. As I brought out and other brothers before me and even my predecessors, you can go ahead and the pedophile take showers, the murderer takes showers. Hell, you even got a lot of homies, go to the gym, take showers. But where is your spirit? Has your spirit taken a shower? Because for a lot of people out there in the world, that mug is funky. It ain't bathed. We be in the flesh, we be mad because people ain't bathed all day. It's people who ain't bathed their whole life in the spirit.
That's right.
So how funky is that? When you gonna cleanse that? When you gonna throw some Dove and some Old Spice on that? Man, some cologne, everything else. That spirit is foul. Golly. Most High said, no, can't come near my sanctuary with that. Throw a deodorant bomb over there. But now, nevertheless, read on.
For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sins is ever before me.
But you got to acknowledge your transgression. Be in a place where I'm willing to, because the first step, like they say, the first step to get better, you got to be honest to where, you know what, yeah, I messed up. I did this. You know, I'm open to that because now I can work to correct it. And if I'm struggling, then that's why we have a community of brothers and sisters that can help you. The only way you can't get help is if you don't want it. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be someone in here that can relate to your problem. May not be everybody, but it's someone that can relate. Bro, I was there. You know, you have vices and things. You feeling whatever it is. You was maybe a dope dealer, and it's like, man, it's hard not being able to financially get things together. And it's like, man, this is how we get it. And it's like, hey, brother so-and-so, he was there too. For real, I could talk to him. Talk to him. So, or you may have the opposite. Man, dope user. You know, it's like, man, I don't know how to function without this. And it's like, man, you ain't the only one. You talk to so-and-so. They was there too. Man, I could talk to and get that. Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you need it. Every vice, there's someone here that has walked your walk. Because at the end of the day, we all Israel, we all dealing with the same problem. We all in the same boat. We all going through the same thing. There's help there available to you if you want it. But a lot of people don't want it. They don't want to get better. They don't want to get truly clean. Read on.
Against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest.
Because when we offend, we're offending the Most High first and foremost before all. That's the key one we're wronging. Read on.
Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me.
Because in dealing with that, man, we come in the flesh, we're made and subject to sin. So he's looking at, man, you know we're subject to sin in this flesh, that the things in which I'm doing isn't necessarily like all me that does it and desires to do it. Hold that. Get Romans. This is what he's also saying. Get the book of Romans. Get the book of Romans chapter 8. I'm sorry, chapter 7. And we're going to read chapter 7 and verse 15.
Romans chapter 7 and verse 15. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I.
And it seems like the same thing he's saying back and forth. It seems a little confusing. What he's dealing with is the battle of keeping these laws and keeping a clean tabernacle. It's like, man, the things I really don't want to do. I don't want to do these sins, but I end up doing some of this stuff. And then the thing that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to keep these laws, but that's the thing I end up not doing. Right. That's the battle. That's the same thing that it was David was trying to, the same thing here that Paul's saying, like, man, that's what being subject to the flesh is like. It's difficult. It's a battle. Read verse 19.
Verse 19. For the good that I would, I do not.
So he's saying that for the good that I would, I do not. But what?
Let me read that one more time. Get that right for you, Art.
Read it.
For the good that I would, I do not.
He said, for the good that I would, I do not. But read on.
But the evil which I would not, that I do.
That's what he's saying. But the evil which I would not do, that's what I end up doing. And it be like that because we all stumble. That's why the scriptures say, man, ain't a righteous man who ain't sinned, who ain't made mistakes. But the righteous continue to work on it. The wicked don't care. The righteous will continue to get it right. That's why they're the righteous, because I'm continuing to work to get it right. I'm working on it. But now, read on.
Now, if I do that, I would not. It is no more I that do it.
He's saying, look, if I'm doing these things, it's not even my will to do it. It's not 100% me doing it, but what?
But sin that dwelleth in me.
But the sin that dwelleth in you that you're trying to exercise out of you, that has a hold on your spirit, and some vices are harder to shake than others. And the whole thing is because a sanctuary is like a home and a tabernacle and things of that nature, to where you can't just clean it up one time and that's it. You got to maintain it. This walk, you got to maintain. It ain't something, all right, well, shoot, today, you know, I stopped eating pork and shrimp and everything else. And, yeah, I was kind to my brother today. And, yeah, I was working. I was upright today. And, yeah, I was good. But, all right, what about tomorrow? Yeesh. Yeah, I ended up slipping that next day. You know, I ended up letting pride get to me and deceit and everything else and hypocrisy. And, all right, well, now you got to get it right back the next day. And how'd you do that day? Well, I let lust get to me. And, all right, well, you got to get it right the next. It's a continual thing. Which y'all know, cleaning your house, it's a continual thing. I got to maintain this and get it right. Read on.
Now, if I do that, I would not. It is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
Read on.
I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
And that's the thing. I find then, like, man, Lord, when I would do good, evil's always there. Right. It's like it's always there, staring me in the face. Whatever it is, and for us, it's different vices. Right. That when the moment is for you to do good, it's like, there's temptation over there. And it's looking at me, and it's tempting, and I got to avoid. I got to move this way. Whatever your temptation may be. Yep. Maybe it is for some people, it's like, man, I love me some pork. And I went by there, and, man, I smelt it. It was good. I wanted to order me some. It was a battle for me. That may not be your battle. That's someone else's. Yes. Someone else is like, man, I seen so-and-so. I know they was smoking something good over there. You know, so I know over there they was turning up. I know he was selling the soul. I wanted to buy something from him. I could, different vices. Right. But keep your tabernacle clean. Stay strong. Yeah. Because then, read on.
For I delight in the law of God after the inward man.
Because he's still delighting after the law of the Most High toward that inward man that I'm trying to be. I'm still delighting in that. So now, read on.
But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind.
Because that's what it is. Law, your members warring against your mind. Your body's urging to do what it is your mind, spirit saying, I know this ain't right. No, I can't do this. That's the battle. Go back to Psalms 51. And continue in verse 6.
Psalms 51, verse 6. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Mm-hmm. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow.
Exactly. So last one to read verse 10. Actually, 9 and 10. You can read that.
Verse 9. Hide thy face far from my sins, and blot out my iniquity. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me.
That's what he wanted to do, create a right spirit within us. We can skip John 4:23. Let's go ahead and get the holy place. The table of showbread. Get Exodus 25:23. Exodus 25:23. We're going to skip around in here.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 23. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold.
That's all we're going to with there. We're going to drop down and read verse 30.
30. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always. And thou
so now, the table and the showbread was set before him always. Even, it was prepared every Sabbath too. He said showbread was always supposed to be made. Get even Leviticus 24:4-8. And then get John 6:48. Leviticus 24:4-8, and then John 6:48.
Leviticus 26, verse 4.
Leviticus 24:4-8.
Leviticus 24, chapter 4, verse 4. He shall order the lamps upon the pure candlestick before the Lord continually. And thou shalt take fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2 tenth deals shall be in 1 cake. And thou shalt set them in 2 rows, 6 on a row, upon the pure table before the Lord. And thou shalt put pure.
So 2 rows, 6 on a row, 6 and 6. Goes ahead and makes 12. So we had 12 that we always had to make every day, fresh. Read on.
And thou shalt put pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for a memorial, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Every Sabbath he shall.
Every what?
Every Sabbath he shall set it in order before the Lord continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant.
So every Sabbath this had to be made by the priest. They had to make every Sabbath that the showbread had to be made and set out, and he had to make 12 of them every time. So to be fresh bread for the sanctuary, the Most High said, nah, this is the bread that has to be out there. From there, go ahead and get John 6:48, what this represented.
John chapter 6, verse 48. I am the bread of life.
On the what?
I am the bread of life.
Because that bread represented Yahushua. Read on.
Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die.
Read on. Verse 51.
I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world.
So that we can get better. For the life of the world of Israel. Because it's us that he came to redeem. As I said, Matthew 1:21 and many other places, Acts chapter 5, verse 30, and things of that nature, it came to get us right. And to give us repentance so that we can be clean unto him. From there, go ahead and get next altar incense. Get Exodus 30:1-6. Exodus 30. And let's get verse 1, and we'll skip down and read verse 6.
Exodus chapter 30 and verse 1. And thou shalt make an altar to burn incense upon. Of shittim wood shalt thou make it. A cubit shall be the length thereof.
Now skip down and read verse 6.
Verse 6.
6 and 7.
And thou shalt put it before the veil, that is by the ark of the testimony, before the mercy seat that is over the testimony, where I will meet with thee. And Aaron shall burn thereon sweet incense every morning.
So every morning you have to burn that incense. A lot that came in the Most High wanted, like, look, these are ordinances that you do, and you can't miss a beat. Every Sabbath, bake my showbread. Every day, make sure that incense is up there. You know, every morning. You know, he's specific. Every morning. Read on.
When he dresseth the lamps, he shall burn incense upon it. And when Aaron lighteth the lamps at even, he shall burn incense upon it.
Now from there, it gets Psalms 141 and 2.
Psalms 141, verse 2.
And then T get Revelation 8, 3 and 4.
Let my prayers be set forth before thee as incense.
As what?
As incense.
So our prayers are risen forth as incense. They go up to the Most High. So now, read on.
And the lifting up of my hands as the evening sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. Now get Revelation 8, 3 through 4.
Revelation chapter 8, verse 3. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne.
See that? Your prayers and things are offered to the Most High. Those things he receives. He's open to. Read on.
And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints.
Wait, read that part again.
And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints.
That's also, too, where you burn the incense and, you know, and pray. A big part of you in the spirit of the man carries forth the prayers. So, read on.
Ascended up before God out of the angel's hand.
So, see, all those things go up before the Most High. Would you read on verse 5?
And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake.
Because the Most High said, look, that prayer for all the destructions y'all want, he said, look, I'm going to throw it down there and y'all going to get all them answers. He said, all that destruction, pray for the mercy, pray for the destruction of our enemy, things of the nature. He said, y'all going to get it. So, well, the wicked, they going to get it. We good. If we still maintaining righteousness and we don't fall off, we good. Because now from there, go ahead and now we'll get the menorah. Get Exodus 25, 31 through 37. We're going to skip around. Exodus 25, 31 through 37. Exodus 25 and 31.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 31. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his boughs, his knops, and his flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches on the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side.
Like we have here, 3 branches come out one side, 3 branches come out of the other side. You got the one shaft in the middle, 7 altogether. Now, continue.
3 bowls made like unto...
skip down and read verse 36 and 37.
Verse 36. Their knops and their branches shall be of the same. All it shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof.
Like I said, that's what we did. Total of 7 lamps. Which did with 7 lamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go ahead.
They shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it.
Because now we're dealing with that light. Go ahead, T. May you get Matthew 5:14, and then Azar may get Psalms 89:15.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 14. Ye are the light of the world.
We are the what?
Ye are the light of the world.
That's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be that light of the world. You ever see like a lighthouse? You know, it's shining, go ahead. That's how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be light of the world, though. Lighting everything right, be showing Israel and even the other nations how it's done. Guiding, leading the nation, not being followed, but leading through our righteousness. Go ahead and get Psalms 89 and 15.
Psalms chapter 89,
get Isaiah 2 and 5.
Verse 15. Blessed is the people that Blessed is the people that know the joyful sound. They shall walk, O Lord, in the light of thy countenance.
That's what we want, to walk in the countenance of the Most High and in his light. Get Isaiah 2 and 5.
Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 5. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
So now, what is this light we keep getting reference to? Get Proverbs 6 and 23.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23.
This light we got to walk in. Read.
For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light.
That's the light. The law is what it is we're supposed to walk in that's supposed to be guiding us. Because once again, if you're in that house, you want light in that house. Especially if it's dark. You want some light shining in so that you can see. The same thing the Most High said, this light, this law was supposed to be guiding your path. So that way, guess what? If you got light on that path, you're not going to get lost. You're not going to get confused. You're not going to stumble because you got a guide here in front of you. You know the path you're supposed to take because I can see clearly now. The rain is gone.
That's right.
That's how you want it. So now from there, let's get this last part. And how we doing in the back? Don't give me a report with the food and everything. So I'm going to just give the report, see how we doing in the back.
They said they're ready.
They ready?
They're ready.
All right, well, cool. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and close it out then. If everybody ready, then we good. All right?
Happy Tabernacle!
The Most High willing, man. Y'all keep it clean, Tabernacle. Prepare yourself. Get right, things of that nature. I will just cover real quick. For those who need it, in Leviticus, well, I mean, I still have more, but, you know, we don't need all that right now. We get it next time. It's always next time. Nah, it's a lesson. I ain't going to give you that. That's T-stand, you know. I mean, I get it. We good. We good. What I do want to get you is Leviticus chapter 23, with just those, you know, in keeping tabernacles properly. Leviticus chapter 23. We'll get this, Leviticus chapter 23, and read verse 34.
Leviticus 23, verse 34. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord. Of the first day shall be a holy convocation.
So, you deal with the Feast of Tabernacles, which we're keeping now. It says, so 7 days, you should have a holy convocation. Holy convocation, a convocation is a gathering. So, holy, separated, dedicated to the Most High, convocation, gathering. Read on.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
So, servile work, what did that mean? You get in the Hebrew, H5656. It says from 5647, work of any kind, act, bondage, bondservant, effect, labor, ministering, office, service, servitude, tillage, use, work. So now with this isn't necessarily 100% all work of any kind as what is first mentioned, but it deals with the latter end of the definition as far as with labor. That's what you're dealing with. Work in the sense of labor, you know, need to be office, service, things of that nature, tillage, physical type work, things of that nature. And I'll explain as to why it's not work of any kind like it says at first. It mentions servile work, which is separate from just absolutely no work. Mention that in the scriptures. Read up above and read verse 30 and 31. When it was Day of Atonement, it deals with, like, for example, no work. Even like with the Sabbath, it deals with no work. Read that in Leviticus 23 and read verse
And whatsoever soul that doeth any work in that same day, that same soul will I destroy from among his people.
Read verse 31.
Ye shall do no manner of work.
It said no manner of work. Read verse 28.
And ye shall do no work in that same day.
He specifies no work. Also read verse 3.
6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest. And holy convocation, ye shall do no work therein.
He specifies when it means absolutely no work. When it says no servile work, he's dealing with no hard labor or things of nature. It's a different type of work. He's dealing with specifically, okay, hard labor, servile work. I'll give you the other definition from dictionary.com. Servile work. It says church work of a physical nature that is forbidden. In this case, it says on Sundays and on certain holidays, but it's on Sabbath days and on certain holy days. So now, servile, definition of servile from dictionary.com, slavishly submissive, characteristic of or proper to or customary for slaves, yielding slavishly. It's a type of work that you're dealing with. So now, because some work is done, skip down and read Leviticus 23 and 40.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 40. And ye shall take you the first day of the boughs of
So on
goodly
the first
trees.
day, are we on the first day now? So now, read on.
And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and boughs of thick trees.
Why are we taking boughs and branches when it's a Sabbath day? He said on the first day, take these. Isn't that breaking? Isn't that work? He said, nah, no servile work. This is what I told you to do on this day. Because notice, he said another place when I told you, hey, get this prior to this day. He lets you know that on those other times. This he said, nah, get it on the first day. There are no mistakes the most. He said, no, because there's different levels of Sabbaths. Certain ones, no work. Certain ones, servile work. Some ones, nope, no buying, no selling, no cooking, no working. Other ones, yeah, you can still cook and things. It's still good to play and enjoy yourself. There's levels to it. That's what he's saying in the same thing. Read on.
And the boughs of thick trees, and willows of brooks, and ye shall rejoice before the Lord your power 7 days.
So 7 days. Read on.
And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. And ye shall make a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelite born shall
All
dwell
that are
in
who?
Israelite born.
So if you're an Israelite, you should be keeping it. You should be dwelling in a booth. Read on.
Shall dwell in booths. That your generations
So that
may
means even your babies too. All of us, youngest, oldest, supposed to be dwelling in booths. He says all Israelites born should be dwelling in a booth. Now, we're going to hold it right there because some may say, well, a situation to where it said goodly trees and branches, what if I don't have goodly trees and branches and things of that nature? What then do I do? Let's also look at the other definition of booth and what a booth actually is. We get it. It comes from the Hebrew, 85521. It says a hut or lair, booth, cottage, covert, pavilion, tabernacle, tent. Let's get definition, dictionary.com. Get definition of booth. I'm going to read number 5. Definition of booth. Number 5, it says, a temporary structure of any material, as bows, like it said down here, goodly bows, canvas, or boards, used especially for shelter or shed. All those things are except on that place as the word booth mentions. Now you also have the other one, like it says by the Hebrew, 85521, covert. What is a covert? Let's get that. Dictionary.com, read number 2 and number 4. Covert. It says covered shelter. Also says a covering, cover, a shelter or hiding place. That's what you're dealing with. As long as you're making some type of sheltering type of arrangement, some type of canopy, some type of shelter, and you're buying even some type of tent, you're fine. That is still acceptable unto the Most High. So those things are still fine. You had a question, Uncle? Yes, sir. Verse 42. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
It's all that are Israelites. Now, all that are Israelites, we're talking about the Israelites that's keeping the law, or just
Remember, all of us as Israelites are supposed to be keeping the law. Okay. So we're all supposed to be keeping the law.
Now, should I try to force my brother to live in a booth?
Well, that would be best to properly address after this class with you and your particular situation, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
When the scripture speaks of dwelling in booths, none of us up in here throughout the day literally is staying the whole day in a booth, in a tent. So when we talk about dwelling, as the night progresses, it's time to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to get in the tent. You get what I'm saying? So it's not a situation where he literally has to all day be in a tent. You can literally, I don't know what the sleeping arrangement is in the house, because people have their tents set up in the houses. Some folks choose to be outside. I don't know if anybody have rooftops like the scripture, but you can make something just to go over him. All right, so you do it.
Beautiful. Cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to land back. If anybody need an example I got a picture of how my setup is at the house just for new people. I got a picture just to show if you don't understand what he's saying, all right?
And that may be a place to where for you, for some people, you may have the means to where, look, I can go, and get a place where I got it, land, and I got a backyard, things of nature to where, cool, I can set up a situation like that. Other people, they don't have that. So I got to take, like in my case, I'm in an apartment, so I got to take, sheet, clip it on some chairs and things of that nature, and cool. Me and my kids, we gambling right there. Your situation is different. You do the best that you can with where you are. So the most I understand that you are doing the best you can. Understand, like, for example, get Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter 8. Nehemiah chapter 8 and read verse 14.
Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 13.
Actually, read verse 13 and then 14.
Verse 13. And on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites unto Ezra, the scribe, even to understand the words of the law.
So leadership got together to go over the law to understand more what it is that they were reading. They have leadership meeting like what we do. Read on.
And they found written in the law, which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month.
So they found like, dang, children of Israel, we supposed to be actually dwelling in booths. Like, y'all know that? Like, dang, we ain't been doing this. Read on.
And that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount and fetch olive branches and pine branches and myrtle branches and palm branches and branches of the thick trees to make booths as it is written. So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, every one up on the roof of his house.
Everyone upon where?
On the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of the Most High, and in the street.
And in the where?
And in the street of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim.
So they did the best they could, knowing that, and this was certain thing they didn't know. And you think like, dang, wasn't they more connected? But they just got out of captivity. It was in Babylon, and they didn't know they wasn't as connected. And they had to get back to keeping that law. Doesn't mean they wasn't keeping any of the laws, but that was one thing they wasn't doing. But they had to get back to it, and then at the same time, reading this in context, how many of us, you can take wood out there and you can go ahead and make you a good tent? A lot of us don't have that knowledge. Oh, I got to buy a tent. On top of that, how many of us actually have home? We can actually set up a tent on our house. How many of us have houses that we in period to begin with? A lot of people rent. But then how many people actually have a house you can set a tent on top of? Not a lot. So that worked for them at that time, but then their houses and their roofs were flat. Most of ours are at an angle. Because back then the Most High said, hey, commandment, flat roofs, and make sure you make a battlement to where you put a railing upon that so nobody just fall off. So, and then on top of that, it's still a situation where how many people they was doing it in the street. How many people going to put a tent out here in this street? Or the streets in your city where you live at? That's more dangerous in this day and age. So what worked for them was at that time what it is they had. We have to do the best we can here what it is that we have. And that's what the Most High is judging you off of. So now, that's what I just want to get for anyone, maybe a stumbling block from them. So now, read on, next verse, read on. I'm sorry,
17?
I missed one. Yep.
Verse 17. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths.
Out of the Babylonian captivity, read on.
Made booths, and sat under the booths, for since the days of Jeshua, the son of Nun, unto the day had not the children of Israel done so.
18. Read 18.
And there was very great gladness also day by day from the first day unto the last day to read in the book of the law of Yahweh. And they kept the feast 7 days, and on the 8th day was a solemn assembly according to the manner.
Because the first 7 days, when you go to sleep, you got to dwell in a booth. But the 8th day and the first day are solemn assemblies. They're holy days. Let me get one example of that, Leviticus 23 and 39.
Leviticus 23 and 39. And also on the 15th day of the 7th month When ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord. 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
So there you go. So that's just it. Real briefly for those, maybe your first time keeping it, you needed that information. That's just kind of the basics, okay? So with that, go ahead and officially, close it out.